Hello everyone. The next part of lesson 9.2 on vertex form is how to translate between vertex form to standard form and vice versa. So remember that the standard form of a quadratic equation is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The vertex form, as you learned yesterday, is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, where h comma k, h being the opposite sign to what's in the parentheses, represents the vertex of an equation, and a is the same value as the a in standard form. So when you're converting from standard form to vertex form, so this form to that form, first we would need to determine the vertex, h and the k, and then we would just substitute in whatever the a is from standard form, and then the h and k into vertex form. So remember that in order to find the vertex of an equation, we would find the axis of symmetry using this x equals negative b over 2a. And then whatever we get, we plug it back into the equation to get the y coordinate of the vertex. So here's our first example. So first we're going to use negative b over 2a to find the vertex. So negative 4 over 2 times a, which is 2. So here you can see that the negatives will cancel, and then we would have 4 divided by 4, which simplifies to 1. So h is going to be 1, and also we know that the a will be 2 because it's the same a used in the a here. And then to get the k, you're going to plug 1 back into the equation. So y equals 2 times 1, which is this 2, minus 4 times 1 plus 5. So this would be negative 2 plus 5, which is 3. So that gives us the k. Therefore, our equation, we'll substitute everything into here. So we'll have y equals a, which is 2, times x minus h, which is 1, squared, plus k, which is 3. So that's how you would convert from standard form to vertex form. Use negative b over 2a, plug it back into the equation to get the k. Okay, the other way around is we will use our understanding of FOILing method and finding the product of the squared polynomial. Okay, so here if we have, say we have this equation here, first what we would do is we would take this x minus 1 squared part, and remember that that is actually x minus 1 times x minus 1 if we want to simplify, and that would give you x squared minus 1x. If we FOIL x squared minus 1x, and then negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. Negative 1x and negative 1x will combine to negative 2x. So this would be x squared minus 2x plus 1. But that's not the end of it, because that's just this part. So we're actually multiplying this all by 2 and then adding 3 at the end. Be careful though, because this part needs to wait to the very end because it's outside of the parentheses. So next, with order of operations, you would distribute the 2. So then we would have 2x squared minus 4x plus 2, and then plus 3. And just be careful that you include the sign of whatever is in front of the 2. So that would become 5. So 2x squared minus 4x plus 5, which is just the equation that was from the first example. Okay, so pretty easy. There's really nothing to this lesson that you didn't know already. It's just a matter of doing this new type of question. So there are lots of examples on the next page, and we are definitely not going to do all of them, but we will do some. So let's do number 1. So we're going to convert from standard to vertex form. So the first thing we would do is use negative b over 2a to get the h. So we could just even say like h equals negative b, which is negative 4, over 2 times a, which is 1, because there's nothing there. Negatives cancel, you get 4 over 2, which is 2. Then you plug 2 back into the equation. So this would be 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 2 is 8, plus 6 would be negative 4, plus 6 is positive 2. So that's your k. So your vertex is 2, 2, Your a is 1. We plug it into vertex form. So y equals 1. You can put the 1, you don't have to. X minus 2 squared plus 2. All right, number 2. So let's do h equals negative b, which is 8, over 2 times a, which is 4. So this gives us negative 8 over 8, which is negative 1. Then we plug negative 1 back into the equation. So you would get 4 times negative 1 squared is just 1, positive 1. So this would just be 4. And then plus 8 times negative 1, which is minus 8, minus 5. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Minus 5 is negative 9. And you can always just plug this into your calculator, like 4 parentheses negative 1 squared plus 8 parentheses negative 1 minus 5, which is what we've done in the past when finding the y-coordinate. Okay, so your vertex is negative 1, negative 9. The a is 4, because that's the leading coefficient. So in vertex form, this would look like y equals 4 times x. And now that we will say plus 1, because we're doing the opposite sign, and then minus 9, because that side of the parentheses is the same sign. What else do I want to do? Let's see. Yeah, like I said, we will definitely not be doing all of these. You can if you want. And then what you would do if you wanted to check your answer is you would just like plug them both into Desmos and see if they're the same. So I want to do a fraction one though. So number 9. Let's do a fraction one. Where is number 9? I don't see number 9, so I'll just write it here. Y equals 0.5 x squared plus 2x plus 7. So for here, our vertex h equals negative. This is negative 12. Sorry. No, this is supposed to be 2. So negative 2 over 2 times a, which is 0.5. Okay, how do I simplify this? If you don't know what 2 times 0.5 is, you can just plug this into your calculator. Whoa. Okay. So do negative 2, and then fraction button, and then 2 times 0.5 equals negative 2. If you don't have the fraction button, you could just figure out what the denominator is, simplify that, and then do negative 2 divided by your answer. Answer button is right here with the negative sign, and that gives you negative 2. Because 2 times a half is just 1. So negative 2, and then you plug negative 2 back into the equation, and then this is what I was kind of talking about earlier. So you could do 0.5 parentheses negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2, and then plus 7. So 5. So our vertex is negative 2, 5, and then the vertex form is 0.5 x plus 2 squared, since you do the opposite sign, plus 5. So that would be the vertex form. All right, let's do just a couple more that involve the going the other way. So let's do number 2, because there's a negative sign in front of it, so that'll make things interesting. So first we would expand this, so this would be x plus 5 times x plus 5. So if you FOIL, you get x squared plus outer and inner are both 5x, so they add up to 10x, and then the last would be 5 times 5, which is 25. Okay, but then we're going to drop everything else down, so we also have a negative 1 in front, and then we have a minus 3 at the end. So this just means you distribute the negative sign. So negative x squared, I just not did what I just said to do. Minus 10x, minus 25, minus 3. Okay, negative 25 minus 3 is negative 28, because you're adding 2 negative numbers together. Right? So that would be your answer. And then let's do one with a fraction. So let's do number 4. move this up here. So once again with this, we would expand this first. Now these are always going to be perfect square trinomials. So it's always going to be x squared plus double this, so 12x, and then the square of it plus 36. There are a couple bonus questions on the last test related to that. Okay, so then you're multiplying by 0.5 or 1/2, so you do 0.5x plus 6x, and then plus 18 minus 11. 18 minus 11 is 7. So you get 0.5, this should be x squared, plus 6x plus 11. Okay, so pretty easy. That's really all the examples here, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. The next lesson will be on word problems. So if you think that we are just skipping the word problems, we're just skipping them for now, but next week we'll do word problems. All right, have a great day.